Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Late Night. Late Night tells the story of an acclaimed late night talk show host, the only female in her position, who discovers that her show is in a ratings downfall and in turn soon finds herself fighting for her own chair. All of this prompting her to hire on the only female writer on her comedic writing staff, leading to Molly's entrance into her life. Now, I love Mindy Kaling. Her brand of comedy usually works pretty well for me. I love Emma Thompson. She's just everything always. So I was pretty excited about this film. A female of color director with Mindy Kaling as the writer, Emma Thompson co-starring with Mindy. It sounded like a recipe for a really funny, good movie. And it turns out it was a really funny, good movie. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, Emma Thompson, she's great in this movie. She is so wonderful and she pulls everything off just effortlessly. It seems she could play any role in her sleep and nail it. And she's just delightful in this movie. Her brash comedic style here, I mean, that's right up my alley. And her zingers landed quite frequently. She adds a lot of depth and a lot of insecurity under this really hard facade that endeared you to her character. Even when she is at her hardest in the movie, you are endeared right along with her staff. And it's like a sneakily really great performance, actually, from Emma Thompson. It creeps up on you just how good it actually is. I also think Mindy Kaling is really great in this film as well. She does a lot of her typical type of Mindy-isms, and then she also gets to play and add some real depth and nice character work to hers as well. But really, the entire acting cast is wonderful. And this film is a lot deeper than I had anticipated. There are the laughs. It's not a laugh fest. It's not like this big old riot. You're not just gonna gut bust laugh your way through this film. No, I think it is a little bit smarter and a little bit more toned down than that. The laughs do come, but they are scattered and they are intermittent as we move throughout the film. But while we're not laughing, it really has a lot to say and it really gets deep into these characters' lives and the story, and I really admired that. One thing I loved was that a major theme of the film is kind of the downfall and the negatives of self-righteousness across the board. We do play a lot on identity politics in this film. We talk a lot about tokenism and talk a lot about being the only female, the only minority, yada, 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 in the movie, being that white guy handed things. But I think they do a wonderful job of showing how everyone in this movie has their own way of being self-righteous. And that's such a major character flaw for everyone. Whether it's the straight white dude, it's the Indian woman, or the only woman in late night TV. They all have this air of self-righteousness to them, different sort of ways, and it was really actually interesting to watch that interweave and play out as it did. But it was the deeper moments of kind of depression and life and how life works out that are going to stick with me, honestly. I think that the deeper moments worked so well and they really resonated with me personally, and so much of this film really resonated with me on a personal level, and I think that's why it's really going to stick with me as we move throughout the year. It has a lot to say, but it also has a lot of feeling and depth to it. Those make for the films that stick to your bones. Plus, I just think it's going to be a crowd pleaser. There's enough laughs in here, but the heart is there that I think people are really going to enjoy what it is that they've seen. So what doesn't work so well? Because I do actually have quite a few negatives with the film as well. Well, first of all, I think we bring up too many storylines that don't go anywhere. We introduce too many characters for either reasons I didn't like or just seemingly no reason. One person I wanted to see more of was the publicist, and she was just in this film for such a short amount of time that I was like, oh my gosh, she was such a cool character. Where has she gone? Where have we gone with that storyline? But particularly, there is one male writer who we follow his like romantic relationships throughout the film, and I really just didn't like his entire subplot. The entire thing, I think, could have been left out. We could have gotten to the end result, the end big moment that his story leads up to without having him throughout the rest of the film, honestly. It didn't work. But we get a lot of characters that just kind of like pop up, or these little scenarios that pop up, and they don't really go anywhere interesting, and you're left kind of just like, wait a minute, whatever happened with that? I also think the editing was a little bit sloppy. There were a few just abrupt cuts, and you just hard edge into scene and show up somewhere else without any sort of like smooth or natural feeling transition. And then in the end of it all, I think this film wants to have its cake and eat it too, just a bit. We want to have the deeper meaning, but we have to make sure to tie it up. And it doesn't quite work for me. It felt like a pretty abrupt way to end the film in a way that was less lived in and natural than so much of what we had seen up until then. And I do think the like tail end of that second act starts to dip a little bit, where you're like, okay, when are we gonna move along in some sort of process, and then finally it jump starts with a big event. But I think before we hit that next big moment in the film, we start dragging, and you can feel the runtime a little bit. Plus, some of our side characters are definitely caricatures. In particular, there's one writer in the room who is just like, oh my gosh, how do you have any sort of job? And then the head of the studio was very caricature-esque as well. So, but overall, the positives far outweigh the negatives for me personally. And as I said, it really resonated with me on a lot of the themes that they brought up in this film, a lot of the emotional themes, particularly that our characters have to deal with and go through. And being there with them and their growth was really something I enjoyed. And every character in this film that has anything going on has some sort of growth, particularly Emma Thompson and Mindy Kaling. But I liked it, and I left just kind of feeling and thinking, and I think this is one that I'm going to remember at the end of the year, because it did really make an impact on me upon watching. So if you're looking for a nice, like, sophisticated style dramedy, I think this is a full price ticket. I think you will really get your money's worth out of checking this one out in the theater. If you're looking for a straight up comedy, there is a lot more drama in there than I think you might be anticipating, but the comedy works really well. So I would still give it a matinee. I think you'll be surprised by how much you like it. And honestly, I would say at least a matinee for everyone. It's a really quality film that really deserves the support. So that is my review of Late Night. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Late Night? And what is your favorite Mindy Kaling role to date? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!